I believe that half of the work of being a musician is to actually write the music. The other half is to get that music to as many people as possible. For 30, I had, for the first time ever, a release plan, a set of actions that I was going to do before and after the release of the EP. And today I want to tell you about what I did, what went wrong, and what went bad. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Synaptic Schism and to another episode of Inside the Schism, where I talk about music from a more personal level. Today, I want to tell you about the release of 30, and this is sort of a post mortem of the release plan. And I think that this is useful for two reasons. The first one is for people that are not actually engaged in music production to understand what is the effort that is put into something like this, and for the people that are, in fact, doing music to learn a bit from the things that I did well and the things that I went wrong. Okay, so first I want to clarify that I do have a long-term objective for this project, which is to reach 1,000 streams on Spotify or 2,000 views on YouTube. And for every single release, what I try to do, I want to improve on the previous one. I want the next one to be better than the previous one so that I can reach those long-term objectives. With that in mind, for 30 and for the first time ever, I had a release plan. And that release plan started 12 days before the release and then extended 23 days after the release. Now, it became obvious really fast that the release plan was bad. 23 days. I mean, the whole thing was too big. But especially the 23 days after the release would mean that I would have very large gaps between the actions that I wanted to do. So I had to adapt. One lesson that I learned is that I will make a release plan for the next release that is a lot shorter, like 1 week before and 1 week after the release. Before the actual pre-release, there were some actions that I took having in mind the things that I was going to do with the release. The first one was YouTube. Now, it's important to note that YouTube is key for Synaptic Schism. This is a cinematic music project, and the songs tend to carry a message that is better understood with video than the music alone, especially because until now there were no lyrics involved. So for this reason, I think that my songs work much better in a video format instead of just a audio one. So what I did was I went to everyone I knew, my friends, colleagues, anyone and everyone on Facebook, on Twitter, personally, and so on, and asked them to follow my channel. That actually produced the biggest spike ever in my channel with around 70 plus subscriptions, which also allowed me to get the custom URL. So now you can go to youtube.com/synapticschism and you go to my channel. On Twitter, something a little different happened. I stumbled on a Twitter account called the Music Marketing Academy, which features a short and very objective Twitter email course. I highly recommend it, and I will do a separate video about it. But the whole point was that those little nuggets of information that I got from that course led me to do a couple of different things. The first one was the creation of a newsletter. So I created a newsletter where people can sign on, and I will send them information directly, which helped quite a bit in the release. The second one was that I changed the Twitter behavior. I was kind of passive in Twitter, and I became a lot more active. And the way that I found to do that was to do something that I really love, which is to find new music, indie artists, and people that support indie artists with playlist curators, for instance, and whoever supports artists. I just started following them and incentivizing them. I created my own playlist of like really cool indie artists on Spotify, and a list also on Twitter. So I went through all of these actions, and I got a lot of followers and people that engaged quite a lot with me, which definitely helped during especially during the post-release plan. Now, the pre-release started with the announcement, and the announcement just bombed. It was really bad. It got almost no engagement at all. And I think that the reason for that is the nature of this EP. It's a very personal EP. It celebrates 30 years of writing songs. And for my family and friends, that's relevant. But for the average listener, that's almost irrelevant, right? They don't care if I write songs for 30 years. They just care if the song is cool and if they connect to me on a more personal level. So I think that the announcements need to have a bit more bite, a bit more bang, which this one certainly didn't have. It was very. I was very happy in the announcement, but I don't think that the feeling was the correct one. Another thing that I did in the pre-release was a PreSave campaign. The PreSave campaign was a single post on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram with a link to a PreSave page, and whoever pre-saved could watch the first video of the EP. So all songs from Synaptic Schism have a music video. So these 4 songs of the EP had 4 videos, and whoever pre-saved on Spotify could watch the video. Could watch the first video of the EP before everyone else. So this was really good. It drove quite a number of Spotify streams, and also very important, a very considerable number of followers. And although this was successful, I think that there are diminishing returns, since the followers will not refollow, they will just be followers. However, I think that this was a good strategy. Well, when all of this was said and done, the song was released, and like every other musician on the release day, I was really on top of everything, and promoting and letting people know that the song was out. And the way that I did that was with a SmartLink page. It was a Here Now SmartLink page. I distributed the music through CD Baby, and Here Now is one of the services that they offer. And the idea behind was that instead of giving a bunch of links to the streaming services, the SmartLink page would have all of them, plus a preview of the songs, and also links to my own pages. I don't know if it was good or bad. It gave me one extra YouTube visit, so I guess that's okay. But at least it looks good, and I think it's a good strategy to move forward. Also, during the first couple of days of the release, I found a number of playlists. This was almost by accident, but I did contact a couple of them, and they added one of the songs to their playlists. And on some days, half of the streams came from those playlists, so that's relevant. Although, if I look at the numbers, the overtime impact, the larger picture, let's say, impact, was not that high. For that initial kick, those playlists were really cool, and I'm really grateful that they shared my music, and that they let new listeners, people that would never have listened to my music, learn about this. Now, the bulk of the post-release was with videos, and this was where I did my biggest mistake while I was planning. The release plan went through 23 days of releasing videos. It was really obvious that I didn't have enough material to do this. So what I did was, on the fly, I changed the strategy. Instead of releasing one music video per week plus other small videos during the week, I just released the music video every 3 days. And I did this while giving priority to a service called Musiccast. So all the songs, all the music videos were released first on Musiccast and promoted on Twitter on one day, and then they were released on YouTube and promoted on Facebook the day after. So a completely separated feed, let's say, for both those things. Well, on one hand, I really wanted to help Musiccast. I think that it's a fantastic service and a great idea to get new musicians to new audiences through video. I think that the idea is fantastic, and I really wanted to help this project. And in return, to be quite honest, Musiccast helped me quite a lot by driving viewers to their service. I don't know exactly what is the number of views on Musiccast, and I'm pretty sure that all of those views were views that I would have on YouTube, which would contribute to my final objective, let's say. But on the other hand, I don't think that everything should be about numbers. I think that there's human interactions in all of this, and Musiccast has been nothing but fantastic for me over the last couple of months, and I really enjoyed supporting Musiccast also as they were supporting me. So I think that this was a good strategy overall, even if it goes against my long-term objectives, and I think that I will keep doing it and giving priority to Musiccast in the future, and see if the project lifts off and becomes like a powerhouse in terms of music video streaming. Other things that this pretty much finalized the post-release in terms of what was planned, but there were a couple of unintended consequences of stuff that I did. So the first one was on February 1st. I posted on Twitter and on Facebook that 30 was the most successful release with a link to Spotify. And that exact same day, the number of streams doubled on Spotify. I think that people are naturally drawn to success. And when someone says, this was successful, check it out, people just go. What I did there, and to be honest, on that day, I noticed that I had hit the same number of streams from compared with other musics and so on, the other releases that I had. And I was just happy, and I just tweeted about it. It wasn't a promotion gig or anything. I was just happy that I had that result. And when I did that tweet and that Facebook post, I had as many streams for one particular song on that day as I had in the release day. So lesson to learn here is that you should link your release link as much as possible with good positive messages, I think. Now, another unintended consequence was Instagram. I had Instagram just because I really had no reason. I didn't believe in the actual platform as a way of promoting my music, but I duplicated the Twitter posts, the promotional Twitter posts on Instagram. And one thing that I noticed was that people that engaged on Instagram were engaging more on Facebook and on Twitter. So this is really something to think about, because when someone is exposed to you just once, they are probably not going to act. But if they are exposed to you multiple times, they will probably act somehow. And this was what Instagram allowed. It allowed more engagement, if that makes sense. I cannot measure it. I don't know what are the consequences of that, but I did notice that whoever engaged on Instagram was engaging more on Twitter and on Facebook also. So the big question is, was this successful? Well, in terms of pure numbers, it's kind of difficult because this EP had 4 songs and all the previous releases were singles. But still, I will try to be honest with my review. So the EP had 288 streams on Spotify. The top song of the EP had 92 of those 288 streams. So compared to the average release, it had almost 5 times more plays than the top song, the full release. And the top song of this release had almost twice the average number of streams that I have on other songs. So on Spotify, it was definitely a win. And if I look just at the top songs, so that I'm comparing apples with apples, I am much closer to reaching my long-term objective than I was with the previous release. On YouTube, and YouTube is key. The YouTube music videos had 465 views. 2 of them were outliers. They had a lot more views than the other 2. The first one was 30, and 30 had a very big reaction from my family and friends because it was a very personal thing. It was like a thank you note. So I think that that's the reason why 30 is such an outlier, because it resonated with people that are close to me. And the other was Paranoia, and Paranoia has a very strong visual appeal, and I think that that was the reason that drove people to watch Paranoia and not the other more soft looking videos, let's say. On YouTube, the whole launch process, the whole release process also got me 20 new subscribers, which was massive considering that I am a very small channel. So what did I learn and what's next? So the next song is already uploaded and I already set the release plan based on what I learned. That release plan is only going to have 2 weeks, so one before the release, one after the release. It will be more compact, a lot more energetic, so all the energy that I've put across more than a week before and after is now going to be concentrated in just 1 week before and 1 week after. And I do have other ideas for promoting my music, but it's not going to happen with the next release. I think that the next release, given the nature of the song, is kind of a transition to Synaptic Schism 2.0, I guess, something like that. So what I did learn was that the things that I did were good. The timing in which I did them were not. So I think that I will follow more or less the same steps. One more thing here, less of a thing there, but I will do the announcement, the PreSave campaign, the smart link page. I will contact the playlists. I will do the music videos. I will tweet and post on Facebook and Instagram more about the actual the actual release with links to see if that brings more views. And take it from there and aim for those 1,000 streams on Spotify or 2,000 views on YouTube for a single release. Now, I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you are a musician, to learn a bit with my successes and failures. If you're not a musician, to understand what is the effort that musicians put into promoting their music. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, because I will keep doing videos like this. So until the next video,